everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of, let me turn myself down because I'm hearing double, of Old Man Mafia, where it's a bunch of old people that are up way past their bedtime. But hey, that's what we do for, okay, for really nobody, but except us. So my name is Marty, and as always, I got my co-host, Tony. Tony, what are you drinking tonight, please?
Oh, we got a Mountain Dew Zero going in at 9 o'clock, so I can stay up and functioning to get through this tonight. Oh, that's
Nice.
the wrong way. Here we go.
And just like last time we had on the show, Justin Jacobson from Restoration Games. Justin, welcome. What are you drinking, sir?
Hi, Marty. So last time I was on here with Steven and Tony was like, hey, did you try out this drink? It should be great. It's this watermelon Mountain Dew. I'm sure it's delicious and refreshing.
Oh, you haven't tried it yet?
I've not had it, but I'm going to try it right now.
Go for it. Here we go. Taste test. Live.
Major Melon coming at you.
It's melony and sweet. Refreshing.
You know, I knew Rob is wincing over there.
I probably couldn't have invented something that would have made Rob cringe more than this bottle, right down to the graphic design and everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And joining us for the first time, a new member of the Old Man Mafia, Rob Daviau. Rob, welcome. And what are you drinking, sir?
I'm not a farmer. I'm drinking a Viognier Chenin Blanc blend. It's really more summery, got a lot of green apple to it. It's a little on the sweet side for February, but it was open because I paired with something last night. I wanted to finish it.
So it's kind of like the Major Melon Mountain Dew, very summery, a little on the sweet side.
I think they're almost indistinguishable.
That's what I thought.
I am getting a little apple in here too, interestingly enough.
There you go.
Or phenylalanine or something. I don't know. Just whatever.
You taste the phenylalanine. I'm actually allergic to that.
All right, as we get a few more people in here, I just happened to see Justin behind you on the table is a little project that you and Rob have been working on for a while. It looks like that's the Dark Tower. How is that coming along? Oh, there it is. Look at there.
Wait. Hold on, I'll get it. Oh, Rob, there you go.
That door. Oh, I skull fell.
Yeah, the skull in there.
Happens. I'm dealing with skulls falling out on my desk. That's my job these days. Oh no, I lost one. And I only have a fixed number. Anyway, there it is. It's getting there. We're in the home stretch. It's going to be a long home stretch, but we're in the home stretch.
The tower is looking very cool, though. I have to say,
tower's cool. The tower spins around. It makes noises. It talks with Bluetooth to an app. It holds skulls. It lights up things. It's pretty cool. The gameplay is done, and now we're balancing it. There are hundreds of combinations of bad guys and good guys and monsters and events, and we want to make sure that they're not too hard and they're not too easy. And so, all the low-level monsters are roughly the same difficulty, and cleaning up the language. One of the two of us tends to write very florid prose that we have to edit down. I write cleaner prose. I won't say who writes the florid prose, and so we're dealing with that, like where it runs off the screen.
How long is that process?
The whole game?
Well, we'll let you know when we're done.
The prose. I could just see this give and take. I mean,
no, it's not that, but it's cells in a spreadsheet actually, and we write it, and then someone else, and then I'll write it, and then he'll redo it, and then I'll redo it, and he'll redo it, and we have other developers and designers, and we're like, no, this is good, and then you start playing the game, and you go, oh, when I see it on the phone, this makes no sense. It's like drawing an event card, and it's just reading too much, but you can edit in real time. You can be playing, see it, and go, that doesn't make sense, and then just change it right away, so you'll be better next time.
Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I mean, do you see it? Is it coming at you? Yeah. Hopefully it's not a train. Okay.
It's kind of like we're neck and neck of whether I will get vaccinated first or Return to Dark Tower will be done first. So it's about, for those of you who are like, when am I getting vaccinated? That's about the same timetable we're dealing with on Return to Dark Tower.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a vague sense of when it should be done, but until it happens, you don't really believe it until you actually until the job gets done. So
So have you encountered any delays with all the stuff going on? Like
we had
in
we
parts?
had delay. We did an update. I guess about a month ago at this point. We had some delays, basically all knockoff of COVID, and then the other sort of issue that we decided to do is we ended up going with a co-manufacturing arrangement between our regular manufacturer Panda and another manufacturer Capable, who's doing the tower, because they have a sort of expertise in these sorts of intricate mechanical toys, for lack of a better word. And so that trying to get those schedules aligned and making sure like we can get the stuff printed at Panda and then shipped over to Capable for assembly or whatever, that added a little bit. And then basically we ended up bumping into Chinese New Year, which adds a few weeks. And but at this point, we're knock on wood, not seeing anything troublesome. But you never know. Like it's the same thing. You never know until it's done. So
yeah, I guess container shipping across the Pacific is a mess right now. Mm-hmm. And there's all these shortages and delays, and the containers are in the wrong spot, and the whole global transit economy is messed up. So we could literally hit everything right from here on out and still have it sitting in port for 2 months waiting for shipping to untangle itself, and we won't know. But so far so good. I think we've hit all of the delays we expect to hit. I mean, you think about playtesting, you have this game which really you need a tower and people sitting around a table, which has just been impossible for the past year. So you're trying to play something on Tabletop Simulator where you've got an app and a tower, and you're playing remotely with people, and it just takes longer. The 90-minute to 100-minute game takes 3 hours because people are like, oh, Tabletop Simulator. And one person has the phone and they're holding it up and trying to show people what they would see. So there's just weird things that crept into trying to design any game, but especially a complicated one over the past year.
All right. So we're going to probably at the very end maybe get an update on maybe some other projects that Restoration Games is working on. If you want to share with us, I know there's some exciting stuff with Unmatched, especially with Marvel. But just like we did last time, we're going to play a game of swipe left, swipe right. Now, Rob, you weren't here, so this swipe left, swipe right thing is a dating app thing, I believe, where it's like, if you like what you hear, like what you see, you're going to swipe right. If you don't like it, don't agree with it, you're going to swipe left. So we're going to read a comment, and then each of us will take turns saying whether you swipe left, swipe right, and then you can explain why. So we'll get this kicked off, and we'll do a really easy one real quick. So here we go. First one. Crinkle cut fries are better than shoestring fries. Tony.
Could you repeat the question, please? I want to see if you can get crinkle cut fries out of it.
French fries are better than shoestring French fries.
Oh, I am swiping to the right. Definitely. I prefer crinkle. They can hold the ketchup. They can hold the ketchup. That's important to me.
Okay, Justin?
I am very curious to hear Rob's comment on this. So I will. I'm going to swipe right as well, though. I like a good shoestring fry, so it's close. If you had said steak fries, I'd be like, that'd be a no-brainer. But crinkle cut, waffle fries, same. Those sorts of things are all like surface area to volume ratio, and can hold the ketchup. That's a good combination. I'm going to go with the crinkle cut.
Rob, I know you're a French fry connoisseur, so give us the word here.
Okay, so first of all, you guys aren't fucking around with the old man theme. I can see, like we're starting out we're starting out with soft foods and how well they hold ketchup. So This is fantastic. I'm hoping your favorite applesauce comes later.
Well, it's either.
But now to follow up and answer the question, you're both wrong. Swiping left. Crinkle cut fries are fantastic in 4th grade, but then you grow up at some point.
Okay, I'm swiping right because for the same reason, crinkle cuts is more potato because you got the ridges. There's more potato in there than a shoestring fry. Okay.
When you always wanted to eat a caterpillar, but you couldn't quite bring yourself to it. You got crinkle fries. You guys are great.
By the way, for those just tuning in, this is after hours, old man. This is not going to be as family friendly as RDTN usually is.
Do you want me to make it more family friendly? Because
we don't care.
No.
All right.
Yeah. Don't do that.
It's
All
live.
right. It's been a
It's
long
live.
year. It's been a long year. I have a lot of piss and vinegar to, deal with.
All right, Tony,
Well-
you're up with yours. Hopefully, Rob will like yours better.
Well, I did have a follow up to the thing about you. I hear cruise ships are pretty empty. Why couldn't you put your container on a cruise
Oh my
ship?
gosh, we're back to this now.
So I'm sorry, we've gone from soft foods to cruise ships. Okay, I just making sure.
All right. So I'm gonna make another easy one for you.
I think if you got the container on the cruise ship, that would be
Yeah.
like a $5,000 suite size for a cruise ship.
No, well, nobody's using the pool or the pool decks. I mean, there's.
I don't even know if they're running anymore. I'm not a big fan of being on the ocean myself, but are they running? Can they fill them at all? Anyway,
Not really.
Restrictions. I just constantly get brochures from Viking and Princess, and I don't get those booze cruise. Those are not mine. Okay, back to this. Another old man question here. I miss bifold game boards versus the multifold boards of today. Do you agree with that statement or not? I miss bifold game boards versus the multifold boards of today.
So you're saying bifold boards are better?
better.
Okay.
I miss them.
Yeah.
So, Justin?
Well,
I'm
no, you're
going
not
first
to
this
be
time.
first.
Okay. When he said I thought for sure he was going to go with bifocals.
Yeah, so
Same
did I.
here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm going to swipe left. I like the smaller boards. I like the smaller boxes. I honestly don't. Why would you like the bifold? Listen, all right. It's like I always say this when we talk about our games or restoration games is like we've gotten better at making games than we were 50 years ago, just like we've gotten better at making cars. Like, I like airbags on my car now too. Like quad fold boards are good. They take up less space, fit in a nice small box. You can fit it on a bookshelf. Swiping left.
All right. Mr. Daviau?
I'm trying really hard to care.
Oh, we're going to ratchet this up a little bit. Here we go.
No, I'm honestly
So-
trying to think like a quad fold board has a cut, which is an even thing, but it has like 3 gutters, and a bifold has like 1 long gutter, but it opens up, but it's a spine, but maybe you can tape it a little better. So like I was really trying to come up with some sort of rational argument about
All right, well,
why one was better or one was not, but I'm going to swipe left because I'm left-handed. And I think the underlying sort of assumption that left is bad is kind of galling me and sitting with me. So I'm just going to swipe left on principle.
Okay.
all right, well, hold on a second here. So I want to amend my answer. Not amend my answer, but add to my reasoning, because when Rob was talking about this, remind me of this. We had an old game that we're looking at, shall not be named yet, because we haven't, probably not even going to do it, honestly. And it's one of the old bifold boards on the old coffin box. And I literally could not find a carton to ship that thing in. So I said, is it okay if I cut the board? And I made my own quad fold board out of the old bifold board, and it fit in like a regular old Priority Express box. It was great.
Yeah, he did. He's
So
like,
there
do
you
you
go.
mind if I cut it into little pieces and ship it to you like some sort of like mafia
Modular.
statement where it's like, we're
Kidnapper.
going to send you pieces of the board, 1 piece at a time until you learn your lesson. I was like, no, I made my living out of ripping up cards. I don't care how the board arrives. But I guess at the end of the day, all snark aside, I don't have a strong opinion about it. I think modern boards are thicker, which are nicer, but I do have the nostalgia of being a kid and just having that sort of bifold board. But at the end of the day, those boxes are long and ungainly.
I'm going to swipe left also for that reason, because you had these really odd shaped boxes, and because bifold boards can really come out with some really cool big boards that you just can't do with bifold. So I like the ability to have some nice big old boards on the table.
All right, so I'm going to be the odd man. I'm swiping the right here. I miss my bifolds. Like the other night at game night, I'm sitting here trying to unfold this triplex board, and I'm almost knocking over a drink.
Yeah, they look the 6 panel. They're like a pair of pants.
Downforce.
And you're like, good God, man, I'm almost knocking over Marty's McAllister tea and spilling it everywhere. And then when we're putting it back in the box, it's like, oh my God, this is like a map. I'm having to fold it up and I've got it the wrong way. Oh, am I bending it the wrong way? Stupid board. Right.
What is McAllister Tea and how much did they pay you to drop their name in the
do you have a sponsor?
Today? I wish they were a sponsor.
Is that a Carolina thing?
McAllister's,
no, it's a chain.
Yeah, do I? Oh, I don't know McAllister.
So Tony, what you're saying is 6-panel boards are beyond your ability to handle right now.
You need to go to. Can't handle it.
Times.
Yeah, I can fold a map better than I can fold a 6-panel board there, Rob. I'm just telling you. And then it almost hits somebody. It can put an eye out if you're not careful.
Today I learned Tony still uses folded maps. Okay, so this is fantastic.
I'm sorry. Some of my favorite commercials, is it the Progressive one where you're turning into your parents?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm down in Florida visiting my in-laws, and my wife took a picture. I grabbed a book off my father-in-law's shelf, and it's a submarine book, and I'm sitting there reading it just for the fun of it. So that's going to be my next profile picture when I go on Facebook in 3 years.
All right. Let me try another one here. So here we go. Maybe this will be.
We're swinging for the fences. Really.
Thematic games provide more memorable gaming experiences than strategy games.
Oh, did you say thematic?
Yeah.
I thought you said
thematic games provide more memorable gaming experiences than a strategy or Euro style game. And we'll start with Rob this time.
Oh, swipe right. I mean, come on, look at the games I make. So I appreciate strategy games, and sometimes I'm jealous when I play them because I'm like, man, my brain doesn't work. I couldn't make these. But to me, I always want to make a game that if you're talking about it the next day and someone overhears you, they think you're talking about a TV show or a movie and you're talking about sort of the high points of the events. Like if someone's like, and then I got a majority in blue, which gave me basically the second scoring in the third round, which let me get an extra action. Like, that's cool. You won the game, but it doesn't make a good story. And to me, we remember stories and we remember high points in life, and you need a hook, you need a character or a story or a theme or something to tell a story to people. Otherwise you're talking about the underlying math, which works if everyone knows how to play, but does not necessarily work if you're telling it as like a memory or a story. So I like theme in games. It's what gets me excited to play them. It's what gets me excited to make them, and I think a big part of that is because they create memorable moments.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'll swipe right on this as well. I sort of analogize it to like a movie. You know, if there's like this really well-directed movie with excellent acting and directing, like Casablanca or something like that, it's not going to drive me wild, but I can appreciate what's going on in it, or even Godfather or something like that. But if I'm just there to have fun and like to get what'll get me excited, I can appreciate the craftsmanship and the skill to create a movie like that. But if I go see like an MCU movie or something, I'm going to have a lot more fun at that movie. Like, even if I know it's not as well done a movie in the technical sense, I'm going to have a lot more fun at it, like hands down. So same thing with board games.
I can't believe you just threw Casablanca under the bus like that. It is such a well-written movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't throw it under the bus. It is a well-written movie. I agree.
Okay.
Tony.
So I just saw Casablanca last year, first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I should see it again because I'm like, what's all the talk about it? I was missing something. And my wife, actually, she fell asleep during it. But anyway, I guess, that's kind of sad. You're telling me it's a great movie.
It's a different time and place of storytelling. And they drop you into something where it was made during World War II, where they assumed you knew all of the politics and everything that was going on, and they give no explanation. But 70, 80 years later, you don't have a lot of the context of it's a foreign world that was treated as familiar back then. But to Justin's point, it doesn't have a lot of the big high moments that you get from an Avengers movie, certainly in the modern storytelling sense. But it just has some interesting characters that have some depth to them, and just a lot of great lines that came out of it. It's like, I agree with Justin's point. It's a very well constructed story and script, but looking at it through the lens of 2020 versus 1943 or 44 when it came out, things have changed so much in the world and storytelling that it doesn't resonate as much. But
amazing acting, great lines, and you finally understand where all the lines came from. Swiping right, Marty, by the way. So yes.
Yeah, so I'm swiping right too. I can think of any gaming experience where I have, man, that was such an amazing experience to remember all the details. That's always a thematic game. I can remember like playing a strategy game and going, that was fun, but not remember the experience of what made it fun. Whereas with like thematic games like Arkham Horror or something like that, I can just remember details of like things that happen and events that happen. So I'm swiping right for sure.
Sure. I mean, that's the thing, is the brain remembers. I've said to my kids when they were growing up, like if we were going somewhere and it was boring, I said, look, we're either going to have a good time or a good story, right? Like if you have a good time, we can create stories out of misery. We can create stories out of someone that we meet, but like we need an antagonist and a protagonist, and we need a moment or a monster or a hero or a sudden stroke of luck. Like that's how we've been trained on storytelling, and those are the moments that we create. Not many stories are written around math.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Gil Hove, I didn't certainly coin the term, but I know he's used it before and is fond of it, this term fiero, which is sort of the moment of triumph. I think in a thematic, because the thematic game has sort of a narrative that goes along with it, we sort of naturally understand those high moments. Whereas in a well-designed, tight Euro game, it might come down to the last few points. There's a moment of excitement, but it's really just an appreciation for the underlying construction. There's no narrative context that you associate that high moment with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I just channeled somebody for a second there.
All right.
I don't normally talk like that.
I played what's it called? Race Arcana?
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I played it this afternoon. I liked it so much. My wife and I played it while we ate dinner. We were on laptops across the table playing each other again. And I was like, that game, just played it twice. I'm like, this is my type of game. Mm-hmm. I lost one, or I came in second, and I won the second one. I can't tell you a single story about it. I loved it. It was great. I look forward to playing again. I'm like, I had a character, and there was a lot of cubes of different colors. Like my brain just doesn't know how to shape it into a story, despite the fact that I really liked it.
We played a great pick up and deliver last night, and the best thing I remember was making choo-choo sounds and upsetting Marty.
Were you eating French fries?
No, I was not. I was. I didn't have anything last night. I'd already made dinner. He had a salad.
Okay.
He was being healthy. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, this is just riveting. Moving on. Rod Serling's Twilight Zone is better TV than most of the sci-fi shows on today.
Well, you got to give me gotta narrow it down to a one sci-fi show.
No, all of them.
I was going to say it would have to be one I've seen.
Okay, fine.
I don't think I watch any sci-fi shows right now.
I mean, everybody's going to go, oh, The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. But besides, okay. Rod Serling's Twilight Zone is better TV than most of the sci-fi shows, excluding The Mandalorian, on today. There. Just work with me, Marty. Which way you swiping, Marty?
Well, I guess I'll swipe right on that. I haven't watched a lot of sci-fi shows, but the fact that Twilight Zone are self-contained stories, and the fact that Rod Serling, I believe, wrote most of those, didn't he? He didn't have a room of writers. Didn't he come up with most of that stuff for TV?
I don't think so, actually, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Anyway, I mean, for its time, I mean, it was pretty out there, and he came out with some really wild, crazy ideas that still kind of stand the test of time today. So swipe right.
Okay. Rob?
Well, I swipe right quite a bit. I mean, that was genre defining and boundary busting in the 1960s when television was Leave It to Beaver and I Love Lucy, and then sort of moving into, Addams Family and Bewitched and Gilligan's Island. And here comes someone doing kind of interesting, almost like Black Mirror type counterculture, hard hitting, what is the world like? Then they could range from horror to comedy, and each one was different. From the music that they use, like we're still talking about the Twilight Zone now, and it's been rebooted at least twice that I know about. When you sit down and say, oh, this is what this whole medium of television is doing, and here's the safe thing to do, and you say, I'm not doing any of that, I'm doing this, and come up with something new that people are talking about 60 years later, yeah, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't watch a lot of modern sci-fi TV, so.
Yeah.
Justin?
What was the question again?
Oh my God. Is it past your bedtime?
I think I need some more Mountain Dew while you're reviewing the question for me.
You're the youngest one here.
Rod Serling's Twilight Zone is better TV than most of the sci-fi, excluding Mandalorian, shows on today. Twilight Zone
is better TV. Like that's the part it's the middle part I was trying to seize upon here. I'm going to swipe left. And again, I think this is literally just going back to the question we just had. I appreciate Twilight Zone for what it does and what it was. The stories, some of them, there were obviously some clunkers in there, but most of them were pretty cool. Rob's right. I mean, we still talk about some of them today, and sort of the twist endings and some of those things really did capture your imagination. But if you're talking about sci-fi shows, again, we have a lot of technology and things that we can do today that we didn't have back then. I appreciate what they could do with some practical effects, but if I'm thinking about like Battlestar Galactica or some of the Star Trek shows I've seen, I don't watch a lot of that myself either, but certainly Mandalorian, I know we're not counting Mandalorian, but the point stands is that they just look really amazing these days. Like the stuff they're doing with special effects and stuff is truly, truly amazing. And it used to be we're like, oh, it's CGI, it's not as good as the practical effects. I think that we've passed that point now, where the CGI and the special effects really fit in pretty seamlessly. They feel pretty real to me. Maybe my eyes are just getting bad. I don't know. But
I was about to say, is there a point to this, counselor? Is there a question in there?
Yeah, my point is, listen, I'm filibustering because I don't want to answer the question. And but I do think sci-fi shows today, I guess, I would go with that. So.
All right.
Okay. You would rather watch that than a Twilight? And
I think so.
Yeah, and I'm going to go right, Ben. And I just watched a couple shows recently, and just the fact, like the one where the guy bets that he can not talk for a year, and I had forgotten that episode, and the end it completely twisted, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was just like, dang, how in the world did they were thinking about that? I would not expect that from even back then or even today. So I'm swiping right on that. Marty?
All right, here we go. In general, Marvel comic book characters are more interesting than DC comic book characters.
Oh, damn, sir.
Justin.
I mean, Marvel. Make mine Marvel, I guess. So aside from the obvious fact that we are doing Marvel sets of Unmatched,
Gee,
and I certainly want to, give praise to our licensor. But I've always been a Marvel fan in general, anyway. In all seriousness, collecting comic books just like I'm guessing everyone here at some point or another, and mostly Marvel, some other stuff. But honestly, the other stuff that I did really wasn't even much DC anyway. I was always a Marvel guy, particularly like X-Men and some of that. It really comes down to the fact that Marvel came onto the scene a little later. They wanted to be sort of the hip young kid, and so they were doing stories that broke away from those sort of more traditional superhero stories, the detective comics and the action comics and that, which were, again, for the time, you can appreciate them what they were, but obviously these sort of newer, more interesting stories to me, more interesting characters, more three-dimensional characters. So I know DC's caught up, but I'm a Marvel guy.
Rob?
How much time we got?
As long as you want, buddy.
All right, the question boils down to, Do you want a relatable hero that you can feel part of their world and know their trials? Or do you want an idealistic hero that exemplifies the best that humanity can be? Because DC Comics come from a generation or two generations before the Marvel Comics, and it really is our version of the Greek myths, right? Or the godlike myths, these larger than life characters who create these large, big stories. And you got Superman and Green Lantern, and Green Lantern's weakness is the color yellow. And these characters didn't have many flaws, but they weren't accessible, but they kind of showed in a very grand scale the same sort of things that people looked at in their myths, in their old sort of classical plays of big demigods doing big things. To Justin's point, Marvel kind of turned that on its head, gave us accessible heroes. Now, accessible heroes means they lived in New York, they're right next door, and Peter Parker couldn't pay his rent, and the X-Men was a thinly veiled allegory against racism and various other prejudices in American society, which makes you feel it, but you don't walk away feeling like you saw something incredibly heroic because everything is muddy and kind of messy. So which sort of story resonates with you? The idealistic nature of a hero who's writ large, or relatable heroes? And you can kind of go either way of what is more interesting there, and both of them have their flaws. I mean, DC in the cinematic universe has certainly sort of doubled down on, no, we're not heroic, we're grimdark, which is completely missed the point. And Marvel in the cinematic universe has actually leaned more into the accessible nature of the heroes rather than sort of the realistic nature of the heroes. I can read any of these characters and be entertained by them. They're just different styles of storytelling, and really it comes down to the strength of the author and what they do with them. I think Dr. Fate is an incredibly interesting character, and I think Cyclops is incredibly wooden and two-dimensional, despite their attempts to make him something more. That's what I got.
That's all right. Tony, follow that up.
You literally, the one thing you didn't say though was left or right.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's the left or right?
That's true.
So you might want to flash back to the beginning of my answer. No.
I read a lot of Marvel. I don't have an answer. I have never met a question I can't equivocate on, and this one is no exception. I don't know. Tony, you answer, and I'll circle back. Which one is better characters?
More interesting.
Or which one more interesting characters? I would say, by the definition of more interesting, then Marvel characters are more interesting because they have extra shades to them. I think Superman and Wonder Woman are hard to write, but there are some really interesting DC characters and some really boring Marvel characters that people think are interesting.
Right. Tony.
Well, I will not be able to pontificate like Mr. Daviau there. I mean, to the point is, I think of the Spectre, and that was a very interesting character. But you know me, I love my Marvel, so just for the ease of and keeping things moving on, I'm swiping right.
Okay.
Sorry, I took all the oxygen.
No, you didn't, because Rob, I'm swiping. Here's the thing: I grew up a DC fan. In general, I like DC. I like Flash and Green Lantern. I love those characters. But the key word was interesting, and I think, Rob, you hit the point, is that Marvel has some interesting characters that there's some gray areas in some of these characters, and that's what makes them interesting. You know, I never have connected with the Superman character because he's like, he's almost just too perfect. He's hard to beat. He's Mr. Everything without hardly any flaws. And then you get Batman, especially in the 80s, with the whole Dark Knight series and everything. It's like, wow, this guy is just really screwed up. And that's what made him interesting. And I think Marvel has a lot more of those types of characters, the anti-heroes and stuff like that, that you see a little bit of flaws. I don't know if anybody's watching WandaVision right now, but man.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen today's.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything, but don't you see within Wanda herself, who's a superhero, it's like, wow, there's some stuff going on with her. It just makes it interesting.
Sure. Yeah, the characters are more interesting, but I sometimes finish Marvel comics. I read, I've got a subscription to the Marvel digital thing, and I found a series from the late 90s, early 2000s I missed, which was Spider-Girl, which was an alternate universe version of Peter Parker was older and he had a teenage daughter, and it was her basically becoming Spider-Man and going through the same sort of journey where her classes were falling behind and she had problems with her dad, who didn't want her to be a superhero, and she couldn't talk about it with her friends. And I kind of stopped reading it because I was like, the world's hard. I just want a hero doing cool things, right? Like she never won. It was always like 5 steps forward, 4.5 steps back, or 5.5 steps back. And that's the realism that I think people like. But at the end of the day, it became a story where I didn't feel better when I was done reading it than when I started. And for me, comic books especially have to have an element of escapism. So while I can agree that the Marvel characters can be more interesting, I sometimes like the storytelling that DC does, and I find the stories more interesting because it's just a little bit more comic booky. I mean, you can see the 80s sort of Dark Knight, Watchmen, anti-hero thing manifest itself with the colossal shit show that was comic books in the 90s. Right. I mean, how many leg straps and pouches and, you know, knife guns do you need or whatever? And, you know, like it's sort of like, it can go too far.
Yep. Tony, how many more questions do you have? I've only got one.
I wrote up. I got 2, but I'll do one.
No, that's fine. Before you do yours, I want to do a test real quick. If you're watching the stream, please let me know if you hear this music. Okay, if you hear that, let me know, because if it works, then that's going to be something we use in our next segment. Okay, they heard it. Go ahead, Tony.
I hope there's not clowns in the next segment. That's all I want to say.
We're doomed. We're absolutely doomed. All right. I would rather play Yahtzee over Monopoly if those were the only games available. And I'm clarifying this. This is not Monopoly Tropical Tycoon, because we all know we would rather play that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Justin.
I'm going to swipe left. I really don't like Yahtzee at all. I mean, Monopoly can be long, but I think it's more fun and more interesting in a lot of ways. You know, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but if you're playing by the rules as written, it's not as bad as it sometimes is made out to be. And I think there's a lot of neat moments in it. It's got a lot more variety. Just chucking dice and writing down, you know, check boxes. I'm not a huge roll and write fan anyway. I hope Suzanne is not watching the stream.
Oh no!
But certainly, I need a little bit more meat on the bone than what Yahtzee is providing. Yep. So I'm going to swipe left.
Okay. All right, Marty.
You know what? That's a great question, Tony. I'm probably gonna. You said Yahtzee more than Monopoly. Okay.
Yes, I would prefer to play Yahtzee over Monopoly. I'm going to have Monopoly Tropical Tycoon.
I'm going to have to swipe. I'm going to have to swipe right. I agree, because you do want to play Monopoly correctly, and I have to go back and remind myself how to play it. And setting it up is a pain. Where Yahtzee's kind of the original roll and write, and I think it's just somewhat of a decent push your luck game. So I'm going to swipe right and say yes. I'd rather play Yahtzee.
Mr. Daviau?
I'm going to swipe right. I would rather play Yahtzee, and I have an interesting checkered past because I've designed and developed a number of Monopoly games, and I have spent a lot of time with Monopoly, and like I'm just kind of ready for. I haven't done a Yahtzee game, so for me it's like Yahtzee I can play just as a game, and Monopoly I'm reminded of work or what I like or what I don't like in meetings and things like that. I don't know if it's a better game, but I personally would rather play it. Also, since we're after dark. When I was like 24, my college roommate, we had graduated, was visiting, and a bunch of us got really high, and pot's legal in our state now. I don't do it anymore. I barely did it when I was 20. It's not my drug of choice. But we played Yahtzee while stoned.
What is your drug of choice?
I was going to say wine. I knew that one.
Yeah, no, it's basically alcohol. I really don't have any interest in anything else. But
yeah,
I'm like,
fudge for the record.
Yeah. No, but I was like right out of college. I'm like, it was the 90s. I'm like, I'm going to get high. And I did a few times, like, I don't like this. But one of the only times I did like it is we all played Yahtzee while stoned. And I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard in my entire life because none of us could remember how many times any one person had rolled. And we're like, dude, you just rolled 700 times. And they're like, that's my first roll. And then we'd laugh. And it's like, whose turn is it? It was like the worst sort of Cheech and Chong movie you had ever seen in your life. So when you say Yahtzee, I am always brought back to that moment of being like a young adult and being just an idiot. When I think back to Monopoly, I'm in a windowless basement R&D place, like in a meeting.
Yeah. There you go. All right, for me, it's going to be I'm swiping right. I mean, Marty, you talked about thematic. There is no theme in Yahtzee, but I remember playing with my parents all the time. And it's the game we would always play. I love push your luck games. So what brings back the memories? I never played Monopoly with the family or anything like that. So it's a happy place. Rob got his happy place with his drugs and Yahtzee, so I've got my happy place. That's the way it should be.
That's it. I've now outed myself as an adult who had,
But what are you now? Still an adult? Okay.
Yes.
All right, here's the final one, and well, we'll see how this one goes. So,
What? I don't get my final one, just you? Okay, I'm
the
good with
global board games market is basically segmented into tabletop games, card and dice games, collectible card games, miniature games, and RPGs. In 2018, it was projected that in 2020, last year, the sales of the tabletop board game, including all those, would be around $9 billion. That's according to the Global Outlook and Forecast from researchandmarkets.com. Okay. Wizards of the Coast just announced yesterday that last year they had $816 million in 2020 with just Magic and Dungeons and Dragons, making it so if it was around $9 billion, that means this was just a little less than 10% of the entire tabletop market space was just Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So here's the statement. Magic the Gathering and D&D is the foundation of the tabletop industry, and without it, it would not be doing that great. Tony.
I'm sorry, I was still taking notes.
Magic the Gathering and D&D is basically the foundation of this hobby. It's upon everything else is built.
Swipe left, hard left. No, it's not the foundation. I was playing games well before D&D decided to show up in my junior high.
That is the oldest man statement so far.
Yeah, you really took the cake on that one. That was nice.
Thank you.
It's easy to chew because it's really soft. Don't worry about it.
Do you prefer your applesauce on a spoon, or where you can squeeze it now? Where you can just squeeze it out of the tube? So,
all right, so you're swiping hard left. All right, Justin.
Hard left.
I'm going to swipe left also, but I guess not with as much vim and vigor. I will say only in the sense that foundation implies that, like, if it disappeared, everything would collapse, and I don't think that's the case. I think the tabletop market, or whatever we're calling it, industry, is diverse in that sense. You listed a number of segments, and I think certainly we would miss those things, but I think the other stuff would carry on quite well. And if people, obviously RPGs is a little bit different, but if people couldn't play Magic the Gathering, we'd probably sell a lot more unmatched copies. So I'd be fine with
that. Rob.
I'm going to be a contrarian. I'm going to be the hard-nosed sort of financial. Not everyone in the audience will know this.
I would not have gotten the music at all, but
I would have gotten it without it.
All right. In the chat saying they're all sitcoms. They're not necessarily going to be all sitcoms. Just a heads up. All right. All right. What's next? What we got here? Mork and Mindy. Everybody said Mork and Mindy, correct? Everybody.
Oh,
Everybody gets. Here's the current score. Justin with 4. Rob with 6. Tony with 5. Tony's trying to make a comeback here.
No, he's not.
You realize they haven't changed the position.
Yeah.
At all. The numbers.
I'm trying to create drama
here.
Here.
To make it exciting. Yeah.
Here we go.
Sportscaster.
Oh, this one I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that, Tony?
Oh, no, I don't. I know. As soon as y'all say it,
I
I'm gonna say,
love
oh, yeah.
this show.
But I did.
Great show.
What?
Nope.
Is it Taxi?
Justin!
Oh, it's
What are you
Taxi.
doing? It's
Wait a
Taxi.
minute.
It's Taxi.
Well, that's also a
It's
great show.
very
How does Hill
simple.
Street Blues go?
I started to write Hill Street Blues, and I'm like, nope, that's Taxi. Taxi has that sort of
I didn't
like,
want to embarrass
Yeah.
myself.
All right,
Taxi.
hold on a second. Now that's gonna bother me. I'll look it up later.
Hill Street Blues is
All
very
right, for the
similar.
record, Hill Street Blues much better show
All
than
right.
Taxi.
Hill Street Blues is a better show. That is more piano driven. This had that sort of
Yeah, it had that little
Little
saxophone,
clavicle
xylophone,
sorta-
something or whatever.
All right,
Yeah,
here we
yeah,
go.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know Taxi was in the 80s. I thought it was
Uh-oh.
late 70s.
it overlapped.
Now we're gonna add Tony and my score
Here we
together.
go.
Just one drum. What might be right
Never
for
mind.
you may not be right for some. A man is born,
it.
he's a man of means. Then along come two. They got nothing but the dreams.
Spelling
They got
this one.
different strokes it takes. Different
Oh,
Wow.
strokes it
Okay,
takes.
so it's in the
Different
song.
strokes to move the world.
Everybody got it.
The answer is diff apostrophe rent strokes.
That's fair. Yeah. Different. That's right. Gets a bonus
That's how
point.
it was spelled.
All right.
Brown
No,
nose.
why?
You got
Why was
such a
it
brown
spelled
nose.
that way?
All right. Here's another.
Is it like that? How Arnold would spell it or something?
What you talking about,
What's he
Willis?
talking?
All right. Here we go.
When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
Oh yeah, there we go.
It takes a
Yeah.
lot
I
to
wish they hadn't played
get
that
'em
close.
right.
Okay, you know.
When you're
Right. Tiebreaker. Name the 4 main characters, or 5.
Trudy.
Tootie, Tootsie.
Tootie.
Tootsie.
Tootie.
That's a movie.
Kimberly was the snooty one, right? No, I don't know. Okay.
Blair.
Jody,
Joe
who was,
Blair.
Who was the athletic?
Mrs.
Joe.
Drummond, Blair, Tootie, Natalie.
Trudy. It was
Natalie,
Trudy.
right?
Was it Tootie or Trudy?
Trudy.
Okay. All right, next one. Here we go. Let me see what this one is. Okay. This one, I knew a lot of these. This one I did not, and I watched this show.
Challenge accepted.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change. No matter what the odds are this time, nothing's gonna stand in my way. This flame in my
What the what?
I watched this show, and I don't remember this theme at all.
on.
Does anybody even have a guess?
Yeah, I have a guess.
I'm
Okay.
making a horrible guess of another show that is probably in the 70s, but I'm going to say it was in the 80s. I can't
This
write
was
on
in
this
the
thing.
80s,
All right,
buddy.
I'll just tell you.
All right. It's a
Hello,
Pepsi
Larry.
No. Okay, it was Perfect Strangers,
Oh.
and I watched
Oh.
Perfect
Oh,
Strangers.
wow.
That's
Yeah,
I
we
did.
did.
It definitely sounded mid 80s. It sounded like that sort of Top Gun 86, 87.
I was trying to figure out, like, listen to the lyrics because they're so narrative back
Yeah.
then. Like, the theme songs were like trying to give you the whole backstory of the characters.
and theme songs are lost now. TV shows don't have theme songs in the
they-
show anymore.
They don't have time for that. Ain't got time
Nope.
for that with all the commercials they got to
All right,
play.
this one you'll get in 3 seconds, but I gotta let it play all the way through because this is just one long file. Here we go.
Just a good old boy.
Good old boy.
Oh, okay.
Never meaning no
I thought it was
harm.
a Midnight Cowboy for a second.
Beats all you never saw. Been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Yeah, go ahead and show me because I know what it is.
Straightening the curve.
Yep.
All right.
We'll get through the end.
All
Flattening
right.
the
We did
gears.
Dukes of Hazzard with 2 Z's. Justin.
Yeah, from Hazard County. Everybody knows that. Come on.
All right. Who sang that?
Glenn Campbell.
No, Waylon Jennings.
I have no idea. Okay.
Was it not Merle
I
Haggard?
don't know.
Oh,
It was not Merle's
It was
Waylon
Waylon
Jennings,
Jennings.
wasn't it?
Are we
Okay.
sure it wasn't Glenn Campbell?
no, it was not
Yes,
Campbell.
that was. We can
Yes.
agree on that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This will be an easy one too.
Exciting you. Come aboard. We're expecting you.
We're expecting you.
Everybody got it?
won't hurt anymore. Let it go. It comes back to you.
All right. I guess we'll go to the next one then. Here we go.
I know my
like it.
parents loved me. Stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah. For I finally heard them say it's a different.
Oh, wait a minute. Really? Hold on. Changing
You
my
got it.
answer.
The last word reminded me of the spin-off.
There you go.
Wait, is it not? Oh, it is. Okay. So it's not different with an apostrophe, though, right?
No,
Different world. Everybody got it. Nice job, everybody.
I would not have gotten it until that last word. Like
I put down
that's the name of the
227
Cosby Show.
to start.
I dropped my eraser.
Okay, find your eraser real quick before I'll start the next one. You got it?
Oh no! God, ow. Okay, never mind.
Good.
I'll just use my
Get
thumb.
yourself a Kleenex. Oh. Boom. Has to be. Right?
I don't know until we see it.
I know. I'm just saying it has to be, right? I think
Stop
I got
talking.
this.
I need to hear it.
Oh shit! I don't think it's right. I feel like I'm gonna embarrass myself again.
All right, I got it. I got something.
But
I pulled something out of the corner of my mind that's likely wrong, but I'm proud that I remembered it as being a show at all.
By the way, the current score is still Justin 9, Rob 12, Tony 11. Tony's still making that comeback.
it's
I thought I
not
gained a
ideal.
I thought I gained a point on him at some point. I think your score
This
keeping
is
is
not
suspect.
right. Now I feel bad. I think I don't know.
All right, here we go. Space, what's amazing stories and
Stories.
worldwide Disney. None of those are correct. It is Dynasty.
yeah.
Dynasty.
Yeah. All right. Never
I'm
mind.
proud I remembered Amazing Stories, which was a Twilight Zone-esque Spielberg
Yes.
produced
Spielberg. Yeah. I
thing,
remember
and that sounded like Spielbergian nonsense. That song.
Here we go.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait,
I'm
this isn't 80s,
Yep.
is it? No, this.
I
isn't
didn't
80s.
watch this.
No, I meant what I wrote
Oh.
down is not 80s.
I didn't watch this.
That's not
but,
right.
yeah.
It's a western of some sort, clearly.
Ready?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I just went with
No.
Airwolf because Tony said it earlier.
So it is Falcon Crest.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness, a classic
you're doing-
western.
Nighttime soap operas for people who are like 12 at the time.
Classic western.
Right.
All right, here's another one.
I'm digging the music. I gotta say, I want to make like a playlist of this stuff. Some of it's pretty funky.
Gunsmoke over in the. That's pretty good.
Smoke from the 80s. All right, here we go. We got a question mark.
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
give me one
Finally,
time.
It is Knots Landing.
No. So you keep again the nighttime soap operas.
Okay.
So that's where we're in.
Well,
That's what
no,
we're leading to.
We're done
So-
with it. We're done with the nighttime soap operas. Okay. So here's something you'd be,
Okay, good to know.
here's something you'd be more familiar with. Here we go.
Hoping to find we're two of a kind. Make it a go, make it grow together. We're gonna find our way.
Oh yeah.
Together, taking the time each day to learn all about those things you just.
I got no
It's a
idea.
callback. We're going with Kate and Allie again. Boom.
No, it's not Kate and Allie.
Growing
No,
pains.
Tony, you got anything?
No.
Silver
nothing.
Spoon with Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, that's it. It's
and
Silver
Ray.
Spoons. It is Silver Spoons.
We already did Growing Pains. Get you some Prevagen there, Daviau.
We already was that the first one?
Yeah.
I
Here's
don't
a give me. Here's a give me for you guys. Here we go.
Believe it or not. I'm only about 75% confident on this because I don't think I've seen a single ever 2 seconds of the show ever.
Not even the one right after the
How
Super Bowl.
dare you?
Nope.
All right, what is it? That's
this
it.
was the first big
A-Team.
Oh wait, you guys got it wrong. There's a hyphen. In there.
That's true.
Now you're a grammarian.
So name the A-Team.
Oh, there you go.
I want to
BA
do A-Team Unmatched. That'd be
B.A.
cool.
Baracus.
Okay.
Face.
Oh, he's going to know him. I'm like,
I don't
Charizard.
know. I didn't watch. No.
Like,
Murdoch. Yeah, Mad Dog Murdoch. And then I'm totally blanking right now on
The
Mr.
leader.
Ben. What's no? That's.
I don't know.
I can't remember it. I can't remember the captain's name.
I should have watched it, and I would have loved it at the time. I missed it. I'm not going to go back and watch it now and find any nostalgia. And I bet it didn't age well.
Well, listen, I enjoyed the movie. I think I'm one of 3 people who enjoyed that movie.
Is there not a A-Team Unmatched set coming?
No.
That'd be awesome.
Why not?
It's the same problem with all of these. Like, it'd be cool, but there's also like 17 other cool
Yeah,
ones.
true.
So, you know, we can't do everything.
Here we go.
I think that's the one.
We're getting into a little bit more.
Oh,
No! Oh, my goodness. Catch-up time.
Oh, it's a
baby.
catch-up time.
Yeah.
It is Magnum
no,
PI.
yeah, Jan Hammer did the Miami Vice one. Yeah, no, that was Magnum PI. I should have
Rob
gotten it.
and Tony are tied. All right.
I still
He
think
did
you-
catch
I,
up.
I still think you scored wrong and missed one.
I
but
may
okay.
have.
That's
We can go back and review
He's
the
playing
tape.
under protest, yes.
I tell you what, for the prize that we're going to win, the winner gets. It's okay.
Yeah,
Is it a watermelon Mountain Dew?
Zero sugar. All right, here we go.
yeah. Second prize is 2 of them.
Oh,
That's,
what was the name?
I
of the show?
watched this
Nothing
show
to that
and
song.
loved it.
All right, well, then I got it wrong.
All right,
Nobody
I got it wrong.
liked this show.
There we go. I think it was some sort of old people show.
Man, there's a good. Oh man, good guesses. It was Too Close for Comfort. I remember. What was the
Oh, with what's his
guy
name?
from Mary Tyler Moore
Caddyshack.
and
Yeah, Caddyshack. What's his name? Ted Knight.
Ted Knight.
Ted
Yeah.
Knight. Oh yeah, I remember watching it. That was a pretty good
Yep.
show.
All right, here we go.
There you go, Rob.
Obvious in hindsight. Obvious in hindsight.
Everybody got it? Yeah. Jan Hammer made some good stuff, and yes, I was one of those that did that. I did it. I bought the coat and I pulled my sleeves up just like Don Johnson did. I'll admit it.
You also had that fine T-shirt that I got a picture of
A
you
pink
in.
T-shirt and a white blazer, baby. All right, here we go.
So that was for, I don't know if people remember, but Michael Mann's, that's how he broke on the scene there. I'm a huge Michael Mann fan. He's one of my favorite directors of
Yep.
all time. So
Yep.
anyway,
That
carry
was
on.
that was a good show.
It was groundbreaking. It was one of the first shows to actually use popular music as songs within the
Soundtrack,
show,
yeah.
as like a soundtrack that you could take rock music or popular music and do TV and put them together. And people are like, "Wait, you're allowed to do that?"
It's also one of those shows where there were a lot of like the sort of secondary characters turned out to be like famous stars. Like Law and Order, the original, what is it? A lot of that. If you watch the old Law and Orders, you'll see someone like, oh, wait a minute, that's Zoe Saldana playing like, a drug addict or something.
Wasn't Miami Vice where the song by Phil Collins got so big?
Yes. Yeah, in the air tonight.
In the air tonight. Yep. Okay.
And wasn't Phil was on it? Glenn Fry was on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of guest stars on there.
Yeah, the heat was on. All
Yeah.
let's go.
Those were
It is on.
the glory
Here we-
days. It was all downhill after that.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Alright, I got this
All right. So did y'all ever watch that?
No.
So my family did.
Nighttime soap opera.
Yeah, I know, but my family
Yeah.
did. And then, do y'all remember the summer, the whole Who Shot JR thing?
Yes, sure. I remember that, yeah.
I do. I was 10 though. So.
You were older than 10. That was in the mid 80s.
No, it was
Yeah.
1980.
No.
No, really?
Hold on. Fact check
I
here.
don't think so. Yeah.
oh Lord.
Uh-oh. I know better than to fact check Rob, so we'll
If it's
yeah, that goes
1980,
for
then
you.
I'm really bad. Dadgummit, it was not. No.
81?
It's
80?
advertising. Dadgummit, it was 1980. Dang. Never question you.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I go to the supermarket for 3 things, I'll remember 2. But Who Shot JR being 1980, I remember from a Mad Magazine cover I had, which had that and the basically Reagan versus Carter parody. I remember reading it, and I remember reading it in 5th grade or the summer
Dang.
before 5th grade.
That's impressive. I don't know why. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. All right, here we go.
But Marty, the chat's saying, did you just say 80s dadgummit?
Yeah. It fits.
I mean,
It
you know,
fits.
Caroline.
Hey,
so.
Yeah, it was just a little. It was a little before my time because I was
Oh,
10.
okay.
We should reach out to Prevagen, Marty, see if I get a sponsorship.
Yeah. Here we go. Give it a second. Here you go.
Baby, if you've ever wondered,
Yeah. That's what I thought.
wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air and
On the air and there you go. You cut it. Well done.
That was a good show. Everybody got it. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Herb Tarkelson. Herb Tarkelson.
Herb Tarkelson,
Nesbitt.
Carlson,
Venus flytrap.
Venus Flytrap, yeah, Dr. Fever,
Yeah.
Eh,
Dr. Johnny Fever.
yeah, and
Do you hear dogs? Do you
And
hear
what
dogs?
was what's her name? The
Lonnie
Lonnie
Anderson.
Anderson,
Lonnie
Yeah, what was
Anderson. What was their character name?
Jennifer.
I don't
Jennifer.
remember. Okay.
Bailey.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm more of a I'm
Les
more of a
Nessman.
Bailey guy than a Jennifer guy. I'm just saying.
That's you're really cutting insights. But
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
All right, here we go.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
I don't know it yet.
Rob,
I have no.
what?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't. I should, but I just
All right,
don't.
guys, show them what it is. Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah. Another show I never cared much about. I watched it some, but
I never watched that show either, but that's it's classic, that theme song.
What could be an unmatched there? Knight Rider versus the Scooby Doo mystery van or something?
Wow.
No.
hey,
Not everything's an unmatched set, Tony.
no, hey, I'm just saying that is that this year I'd like to point out and thank everyone when I tweet something. It used to be everyone would just tweet it back to me and say legacy after it, and now they say
There you
unmatched.
go. Confirmed.
So we've done it. We've moved. We've turned the page to the on the obvious joke.
All right, here we go.
I'm guessing.
All right.
There's the piano.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Everybody
told
got
this
it.
for piano.
Yeah,
I forgot the sax.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 3 left, and here's the scores. We have Justin with 16, Rob with 17, Tony with 18, with 3 left to go.
All right. So I got to sign out. Got it.
Wheelhouse.
Tony's struggling.
I'm just going to go with this. I don't know.
Were you picking up what I was putting down, Tony?
No.
You basically gave it to you.
Oh,
Ah.
L.A. Law. That's it. Oh, gentlemen, with 2 left to go. Rob and Tony
Never
are
watched it.
tied, and
Against
Justin's down
all
by 1.
odds. Against all odds, I give a shit now. Like,
All right, here we go. 2 left.
uh-oh.
Boy, those classic 80s themes, man. Heavy on the
Yeah,
Yamaha DX7 in there. All right, here we go. Tony comes ahead with MacGyver.
Oh.
It's not Clowns Are Coming? Because I pretty much thought that's all I could hear when I heard that. All right, I think all I know, I'm playing for a tie
Playing
now.
for a tie.
No,
Marty,
the last one's worth 3 points.
Marty, you can make fun of me watching CBS now, but thank goodness I still do because that's the only way I'm carrying through.
Here we go. The last one.
I know this one, but I
Hold
don't
on.
know it. This isn't right. I don't even know why I'm writing this
Sorry,
down.
my handwriting is really atrocious.
This is very wrong. Very, very wrong.
All right, let's have it.
No idea.
Music to eat crinkle fries too. That's all I got.
It is the
Paper Chase is the 70s.
Newhart show.
There was also in the 80s, I think, right?
The
No,
Newhart show.
early
It started
70s.
on PBS in the 70s, but I think there was a version. And anyway, I know it's not.
It was the
that.
Newhart show.
Newhart.
Yep.
Damn it!
Which was
I should have gotten.
A great ending.
I
to
was
that
going to
show.
say that, Rob. It's one of the best
Yeah.
endings ever
Best
to a
endings.
TV show.
Yeah.
It was like one of those. It's like all of a sudden out of the blue, they like broke the 4th wall, and it was like that was amazing, and nobody ever done anything like that before. All right, so the final scores are: Justin got it to 17, Rob got 18, Tony got 19 to take the 80s championship, 80s theme championship. And don't worry,
I think we can all agree that I'm the real winner here.
I think now that the thrill of competition is worn off, knowing that Tony knew the most about 1980s TV show themes, I'm okay with that. I'm actually very, very okay with that.
I will own it full-heartedly. I'm good with that. Like I said, thank you to 2020s and reboots, MacGyver, Magnum. You know, I didn't hear any Blue Bloods in there.
well, that's not.
Look, I'm just saying, you did an 80s TV theme show thing, and you didn't have The Greatest American Hero.
Okay,
Yeah.
I,
So,
did,
this
I didn't
whole-
put this together.
This whole thing is basically just suspect.
Okay, it's sus. I didn't put this together, but there is another one out there. So maybe the next time we get together, we'll do the other one, and maybe America's Greatest Heroes on that one.
I like it better where we
The Greatest
started at the
American
beginning.
Hero.
Yeah.
America's Greatest.
Where we started with show me a TV show and let me see if I can do the theme song.
Oh pff, no, we just run people off.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
Gentlemen,
Quantum Leap.
Gentlemen, before we get out of here, you got anything you want to share from Restoration Games you can tease us or anything like that's coming up in 2020?
I hope not. 2021. let's go with it.
2021, yeah, that too. Whew.
I know last year didn't count, but they still flipped the calendar.
Did they? I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling 2020.
Yeah, we're doing stuff this year. Rob, tell them what they want.
We got Key to the Kingdom coming out this year.
I've never played that. What is that like? What is it about? I mean,
it is a nonsense adventure in a nonsense realm.
So Rob, I think, had the best description of it a while back. Is that if Dark Tower is our Lord of the Rings, Key to the Kingdom is our Princess Bride. It's fun and whimsical and, you know, a little silly and a little nonsensical and all the best ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
we've had a lot of fun with this game. It has a sense of humor. We said, can we just make a board game be fun to play in a real game and you try to win, but not take itself incredibly seriously? And I think from the art to the writing to the gameplay to everything else, it's a family game. It is 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And you go on an adventure. An adventure, there's a land. It's like a fairy tale land. There's a sleeping giant, and there's, you know, snake pits and berserker boars roaming the land. And you're trying to basically assemble a magical key so you can go to the Demon King's castle and defeat him once and for all. And along the way, you'll gain companions and jump in whirlpools. And the big thing is the board starts folded over. So
it's two bifold boards, although we made them
two
four
bifold
panel.
boards, Tony. And
we did make them 4 panel though.
We'll pretend they're bifolds, and they're folded over, and there's actually a hole in the board. And if you're moving along, you jump into the hole, which is a whirlpool, and then you open the board, and then like the board gets bigger, and you're in a world underneath it. So the boards are opening and closing, and you're going into castles, and you're basically rolling dice and then using some stuff to modify them, and just going on a rather whimsical adventure.
Wow.
And the artist on this one is Andrew Bosley, who did the art for Everdell that everyone loves so much. And he just, you could tell he had a ton of fun with it. So the illustrations are just really fun and amazing and whatnot.
I mean, just to let you know, like in the writing in the world, we reference like the Pina Colada song, like in this game. Like that's the sort of level of sophistication we were going for.
Right. So let's see. Well, I know I'm excited about the Marvel Unmatched. That's a big catch for y'all. That is going to be absolutely amazing. When is that?
The decks are great.
Yeah. When's that supposed to come out?
When Marvel says we can put it out.
Okay.
It's part of it. So there's always that aspect.
The art's coming together. There's licensing approval. There's assembly. There's manufacturing. It'll be later this year. We don't have an exact date for it because we've learned that everything. Well, first of all, it's Mondo's SKU, not ours. Mondo's product, right? They're coming out, so they have a better sense of exactly when. We design the games together, and we have many meetings during the week. But ultimately, it's their game to manage. And we have learned that sometimes there's just delays with licensing that we cannot account for, no matter what happens. So it's best to just be really vague until it's on the ship and ready to go, but not in the next couple months.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the other thing we've discovered is it's much better if we can announce closer to when we're releasing because people get very excited, and we don't want to have people get very excited and then have to wait a long time. It's a bit cruel. We also have Battle Legends Volume 2 coming out, which is I'm really excited. The art, we just saw the last piece of art on it. Looks amazing. It's a really fun and interesting set of heroes that I think people are going to dig. And the mechanic, I mean, we're on Volume 2, so we know most people aren't going to jump in and decide to play Unmatched from Volume 2. So the decks are a little more interesting to play in some ways. A little more, if you like some of the intricacies of some of the more recent sets, you'll dig these as well.
Nice.
And one set of art for one character is delightfully disturbing.
Yeah, we have a spooky hero, and the art is just amazing. It's bananas.
We could play that music we kept hearing, Rob, before.
The clown music?
Yeah, the clown music.
When will you be announcing the characters that's going to be in it?
Closer to when so the first thing we'll be announcing, if people are interested in Unmatched News, the first thing we'll be announcing pretty soon in the next week or two is the results of the deck design contest, which was amazing. And so we have a whole bunch of decks. I think I already mentioned somewhere along the way that we have 4 winners, but we also have some other decks that we really liked, and we'll be announcing the winners in the next week or two, and they're the heroes that will be coming from those winners in other sets down the road. So there'll be that to talk about. But then the reveal for Battle of Legends Volume 2 will come closer to when it's ready to release. So sometime this summer. We don't know exactly when until it gets on the boat.
Very good.
We would like to be putting these out every couple months, but they take a long time to design. And every time you design 4 new characters and you're playing them against an ever increasing back catalog for balance, that takes more time. And we really pride ourselves on the art in this. And so we look for the right artists, and it just takes a while to do the art. So they just take a little while to do. So they'll be out later this year. Some combination of Battle Legends Volume 2 and Marvel and things like that.
All right, so we know we
have other things that we can't announce.
Gotcha.
Yet.
Okay.
And Dark Tower, of course, will be coming out sometime later this summer. But that's the big enchilada that's hanging out there. So.
Right. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. That was a whole lot of fun. I'm glad you stayed up past your bedtime to come out and hang out with us. And hopefully we could do it again sometime. Like I said, I got a whole nother video of a bunch of 80s. What are you sighing at over there? You won.
Nothing. I did. It's a hollow victory.
Why is it a hollow victory?
I mean, I tried.
You tried.
Yeah.
It's just, I think you let me win.
You have an inherent advantage because you're significantly older than I am. So you were more like older during the 80s.
Yes, and I still watch CBS. That's another reason. I don't stream anything. I don't know how to stream.
I don't know how
It's just,
I'm just
happy.
You might want to get that checked out by a urologist.
I was going to say, this Mountain Dew's getting ready to stream right now if we don't wrap this thing up.
All right.
Oh, God, I'd like to thank you guys.
And on that note.
I've been feeling really old lately. I turned 50 during this pandemic, and I'm sitting at home, and my son's going off to college to be an empty nester, and I just hung out here for the night, and I feel like a spring fucking chicken. So I'd like to thank you guys so much.
Well, I'm glad that we could help you out. And for those that are watching, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. We would love it. And we'll be doing some more stuff here. And you can see on the screen, you can see where you can follow these guys on Twitter. And obviously, you can go out to their website, restorationgames.com, keep up with all the stuff they're doing. Restoration Games is our sponsor on our At the Table segment, so we appreciate those guys doing that. And you hadn't checked those out. We've done 3 so far with some just amazing guests on there. So, guys, got anything else before we get out of here?
Please follow me on Twitter. I'm so close to 10,000.
There you go.
Wow. Really?
It means a lot.
I mean,
I think I got
it's a benchmark.
300.
It's a milestone. Seriously, you know what it is? 100%. My 14-year-old daughter will get such a kick out of me having 10,000 Twitter followers. That's it.
That's awesome. And then on TikTok, if you want to see these guys do some dances on TikTok, we're TikToking over here. Is that what the kids are saying today? Is it TikToking?
Yeah, when they make fun of us, that's what they say.
Hey, we're twitching tonight.
We're twitching.
Oh, jeez, please.
It's just getting worse.
You're demeaning us all.
I'm gonna randomly do a needle drop on one of these theme songs, and we'll go off that. What do we got? There we go. I'm going out with the Cosby Show. So good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Good one.
We can all do the Cosby dance.